What's up guys, cycling fanatics! I am on my way to Emmen. This is in the Netherlands. Today I'm riding my second race here in my home country. I got up early today, alarm went off at 6 o'clock. I got home last night at around 9 o'clock from Hong Kong. I slept for about 6 hours, so now it's time to go racing. Unlike last time, it's not a criterium. I don't know how to call this in English. We call it klassieker or omloop. So it's 70 kilometers in a big loop. I'm the only one of my club. Too bad the other guys are racing on other races today. This is the first time I'm doing this loop race. It has been raining, so the roads are wet and it's very windy. So that means it's gonna go on the side. There's gonna be echelons. It's gonna be a hard race. Fingers crossed. It's a long drive to Emmen. I'm arriving in about 20 minutes. Total driving time is about 1 hour 45. So getting excited, getting ready to rumble. What up? I just finished my race. Before the race I didn't have time to catch up with everything. So I was a little bit busy with registration, warming up, getting dressed and everything, but I'm gonna talk you through the race. I've got some footage. I'll also post the full race online with speed. Alright, let's have a look at this race. Here we are at the starting point of the race. There was 180 guys starting in this race today. And after my warm-up I ended up pretty much at the back of the starting. So I had to be catching up a lot of guys before we exit this compound of the local racing club. Very narrow roads with grass on the side. You see these guys going for the grass to overtake people. A very nervous bunch. Everybody was pushing each other and accelerating, braking. There's still a neutralization car in front right now. He's doing about 30 kilometers an hour and everybody's trying to get right in that wheel. So here I'm trying to pass more people to get in front. Road gets narrow, turn to the right, whoop, squeezing in. Alright, here we go. Okay, so here's the neutralization car of the course director. He's telling people not to overtake him. And then the whistle goes off and now people are starting to accelerate. This is pretty much the start of the race and it was very important to get in front. So you can see the map of the course on the right top side of the screen and the wind is coming from the left right now. It was a westerly wind. All these guys are trying to stay on the right side, so they're out of the wind behind the guy in front of them. Speed is still high, over 50 kilometers an hour. These guys are pushing each other, almost crashing. And now we are approaching the first turn. After this turn, the roads will be very narrow, bumpy, and there will be a strong crosswind. So it was important to get in front at this part of the race. Another sharp right turn, entering a very narrow street here. And we've got some wind from the right. If you look at the top right, you can see the map of the race. It's a 70 kilometer race and we're doing 2 laps on the square that you see in the top right. Here I'm in the front of the race. And right now we have a tailwind, so it's not bad to be in front. I just don't push that hard. And we're trying to make some pace to break up the pack. At this point it's going very fast, about 60 kilometers an hour. We have a wind slightly from the left and from the back, so it's a tailwind, so we're going very fast, doing an echelon and getting up some high speed. After this there's going to be a right turn and then it's going to be a strong crosswind again. So guys are trying to stay in front here and be in that first group, the lead group. That's what it's all about. After this turn the pack's going to break up and you don't want to be somewhere behind in the bunch. Alright, now we're going south, 10 kilometers into the race. The wind's from the right and we're rotating. Here it was very important to get into the right position. You want to be dragging behind the guy in front of you. The wind's coming from the right, so you'll be on the left side of the guy in front. And we're created an echelon on the half of the road, so not too many guys would fit in. And that's where the back will break up a little bit. And the road surface here is still very nice. It's nice tarmac asphalt, so speeds are high, smooth, comfortable ride. Here you see me trying to get into that echelon on and off the road, just to stay in the right position. Again, guys are pushing each other to get the right position. Here we have a little bit of headwind, so the bunch comes together a little bit. People are trying to go to the front, left and right. Approaching another turn to the left. Here we are a little bit further in the race, 15.6 kilometers, and as you can see the road surface got a little bit worse. It's very bumpy here. Again, crosswind, so important to get into the right position. Very narrow bridge here, so it's important to keep an eye out, don't lose concentration. Here's a couple turns. We've already broke up from the peloton with about 30 riders. And here we're coming up in northerly direction. We're still on the first lap of the race, 24 kilometers in, and now it's important to get into the right position of that echelon. Right now I'm straight into the wind. These guys are trying to stay behind somebody else, but I knew I wanted to get in front. I couldn't squeeze in there, and this guy here in blue is not going in too. I move up and then here I am back into a good position. Alright, so now we've got some organization back for the rotation. Guys are pulling a bit. So here we are rotating. This was a nice rotation, but here again a big gap. Guys from the back didn't close. Sometimes the organization wasn't that good. This road was very, very bumpy. I pumped up my tires way too hard. I looked at Google Maps, but I was here for the first time, so I was unfamiliar with the race course. And if I knew that it was this bumpy, I would never had so much air in my tires. I was just bumping and stomping away. Okay, skipping to the second lap. We're doing 2 laps on this square, as you can see on the map. Back into the nice road surface. Here the speed was a little bit lower. Guys were just relaxing a little bit, so it was time to get something to drink, stay hydrated, and try to get a little bit of a recovery. Okay, skipping to 52 kilometers into the race, we have less than 20k left. Again on the bumpy roads going north, crosswind is from the left, and guys are pushing hard to stay in front of that echelon. Here we have braked up from the group, so we're going on the full road, so everybody can take an advantage of the echelon, and we can really pick up some speed. At this moment, about 2 riders have break away from the group, and they're riding in front. almost at the end of the second lap, and then it's about 5 to 10 kilometers back into the finish of the race. Here we are in a headwind going back to the finish part of the race. Some groups have joined us. It was getting a little bit busy. The sound you hear was a spoke of my front wheel. The guy was coming in to the left, swiveling his bike. So it got busy, we got pushed back a little bit, but now I'm trying to get back in front. Six kilometers left in the race. Speed was going up. Everybody was trying to stay in front because now it was getting important. Here you can see guys pushing each other onto the grass. Back onto the main road. This is a southerly direction. We had one bumpy street before we enter back onto the compound of the cycling club. It's the bumpy road I was talking about, and now everybody was getting excited. Speed was very high, and you could just feel the end of the race was approaching. So these two riders, they were breaking away. We were catching up with them right now. So I was just waiting for somebody to jump and to break a gap. But here you see one rider going really fast, and he braked away from the group. Here again I'm trying to stay on and off the road just to stay in the right position. At the moment there's 3 riders in front. 3 riders. I was waiting for somebody to close the gap, but it didn't really happen. We have 2 kilometers left for the finish. 2 kilometers. I decided I would just go for it. I would close the gap myself if nobody else is doing it. So here I accelerate. This guy was in the breakaway for the last 10 to 15 kilometers, so he was tired. He was done. Here I'm just going really hard to try to close the gap. There's 2 riders in front right now. 2 riders of the same team. And there's 1 rider behind me, also from the same team. There's one right turn coming up here. And then we're almost entering the compound. You can hear the guy behind me screaming to his teammates, "Go, go, go!" Here I'm pushing hard. I'm approaching a U-turn right now. I didn't know how fast I could go. I was here for the first time. So I braked, but I braked a little bit too hard. So here I lost a lot of speed, pretty essential. So I had to accelerate really hard again. I could see the guys right there. 2 guys of the same team. They're helping each other. One guy in front, the other guy behind. And the gap was getting smaller. I looked behind. I could see I have a couple meters on the guy behind me. So he was pushing as hard as I was, not being able to drag behind me. And here you can see one of these 2 teammates. He pretty much blew up, and I'm starting to overtake him. Road goes up a little bit. Pretty hard section of the final. Here I'm in second place of the race, and I'm approaching the finish, but I didn't know how far I had to go. I was unfamiliar with this part. I look back, I see one guy coming up really fast. Here he's overtaking me. He just had a little bit too much speed, so I couldn't catch his wheel. I was pushing hard and trying to stay behind him. At this point I was just thinking, okay, how far do I have left? I didn't know. I knew it was almost there, but I didn't know exactly how the course was going. And here there's a very sharp right turn. And here we end on the final straight. I could see the finish. Right now I'm in 3rd position. I look behind me. I see a lot of riders, but they have a couple meters gap. So I push hard, and here I cross the finish, 3rd place. First race, 3rd place.
Oh shit!
Pretty good. I was happy and I was tired. The wind was very strong, so we were doing echelons all the time. It was every time a fight to get in. I was in the front the whole time, trying to stay up there. And about the last 2 kilometers, some guys were going for it, so I was in the front. I closed the gap, and then the last kilometer was just all out. I passed 2 guys just before the finish, and then one guy, the winner of last year, he overtook me, so I got 3rd. Pretty happy with my first race. Right now it's time to go to the podium.
Je mag hiernaast, want hardlopen heeft altijd een hekel aan kou en zeker nu wil die warmte om zich heen hebben. En dan hebben we nu in ieder geval het mooi beeldje op van de kleine einde 38e uitvoering. Oh jongens nog.
Wat hebben we dan voor buitenspelen? I won a sausage and some flowers. That's pretty good. The audience is very busy at the moment. As you can see, there's a lot of people watching. Okay, it's time for cooling down. I'm gonna do some spinning because my legs are tired. I felt some cramps just before the finish, but luckily it didn't go through, and you could end strong in this race. Cooling down on the tax. I want to thank my sponsor, Nefkens, Midden-Nederland. Thanks.